Are there any people who doesn't know Malayalam here? Like people from North India or Northeast or somewhere else? Okay, I'm assuming I'm okay to speak in Malayalam. Okay, English will be better. Yeah, then we can go with English. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. So I hope.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session on how to prepare for placements, part of Excelsior 5.0. We are excited to have Mr. Sarang S. Babu with us, currently working as a General Application Engineer at Google. He is an alumnus of College of Engineering Trivandrum, where he earned his BTech in Computer Science in 2019. With experience at top companies like Oracle, Mr. Sarang brings valuable insights on placements and career growth. After his talk, we'll have a Q&A session, so feel free to ask your questions. Let's get started. So you can continue.
Yeah, thank you for the introduction.
Welcome.
So hi everyone, it's really nice to meet you, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. I would like to share my experience throughout this career, and it's kind of a giving back to the community something for the young talents like you who will be the future. And as I believe Apsara said, my name is Arang, and I'm an application engineer in Google. Currently working as an application engineer in Google, and I recently joined Google. Like I have been here for like past 4 months. So previously I worked in two other companies. So I really don't know much about how to give this session, but I will give an overview of how we can go. So for the first few minutes, I can give you an introduction about me, like what all things I worked on, which companies I worked on before, and I can give a short session about how to prepare for interviews. It will be fine. And I think we can spend most of the time in questions and answers. If you have any questions, that would be better. The thing is, how to prepare for interview is pretty common. It's everywhere. Like you can search Google and you will find hundreds of results about how to prepare for interview as a fresher or an experienced person. So it's nothing more to say. It's pretty common thing. If you have some specific doubts or some specific questions about anything, you can ask me about preparation or career or like anything. If I have some knowledge, I can happily share that with you. Okay, so regarding me, I started my career at 2019 after passing out from college. So I joined a company named Itsogo International Corporation in Cochin, and I worked there for 2.5 years. So initially, I worked on front-end technologies like we were using Ember.js framework for JavaScript development. So that was the thing which was assigned to me first, but I wasn't pretty comfortable with the front end environment in the initial stage because I never built anything or never worked on anything when I was in college related to front end. So I wasn't really comfortable working on that. So after discussing with my manager, he gave me another opportunity which was in backend. So we use Python. You may know Python as the backend language there. So it was pretty good. I was getting comfortable. I was able to do things from there on. And after that, I got great understanding and working knowledge and experience from that company. I still believe that was the time from which I learned most of my core areas. Most of my strength came from there because it was like just like you. I didn't know anything. I was just doing some competitive programming just for clearing interviews. I never built anything, didn't attend any hackathons. I did some dummy projects for the college. Nothing, just basic. So from there to understand things, how a company is running, how a product is building, how it's maintaining, it was all new and was exciting for me and also scary a bit. So from there, I got a grasp about how things are done, how people are managed, everything. So after working for 2.5 years, I moved to Oracle. So there also I worked in a product, but it was kind of a legacy product. Like everything was built, I just have to maintain it. That was my role majorly. So I worked 2 years in Oracle. So in my first company, I worked completely in Python, but when I moved to Oracle, I the complete tech stack was in Java. So one thing I wanted to point out that if you really know one programming language, it will be easy for you to get to know any other programming language or technology easily. You don't have to worry about learning different kind of programming language. It will be a waste of time for you. Just focus on one language. If you really understand the core values and core principles, it will be pretty easy to get to know a new language if you want, if some scenario arose. So I worked 2 years in Oracle. After that, I decided to move on. I was trying to get a new job, and one recruiter contacted me, and I got an offer from Google. Like there were several interviews, and it took a bit. After that, I confirmed the offer acceptance with Google, and I joined Google in last May. So this is my career, and I gave a short review of what happened all these years. I mainly work as a backend developer with somewhat front end, somewhat experience in front end also. So this is my entire career of 5 years. And what should I say next? So about preparation, it's the same as I said. I don't know. There isn't much to talk about it. As a fresher or experienced person, preparation is almost same. As your experience grow, there can be some additional interview rounds that require some more knowledge like system design or database related things. But you don't have to worry about any of that. As a fresher, you will never face such a interview round, I believe. It can change upon the company. So if you're going for a interview for any company, check through online. There are some websites from which you can get previous interview experience. Go through it, figure out what kind of pattern they are following, what will be their interview rounds. Are they considering competitive problem solving or just interviews like technical knowledge? Will they ask you to build anything? In the right scenario, current scenario, I'm not sure how the interview will conduct, so I still believe most of the weightage will be in competitive problem solving, like lead code, geeks for geeks, kind of problem solving. Since all of you are freshers, I believe you won't have that much expertise in building something, so nobody will ask you to build anything. So your most of the weightage will be given to problem solving in a timely manner. Like you have to solve the problem in a timely manner. That's the most important thing I have to say. Apart from that, like around 70 percentage weightage will be on that. And if you don't clear the competitive programming round, I don't think you will be going to the next round. I believe still that's the pattern going on. And after that, you may have a couple of interview rounds based on the company and how they are conducting interviews. Mainly your topics, different kind of topics, databases or what else, process, threads or anything, classes. Everything is simple. You can just Google it and find the topics for interview and get some like 50 questions from each topic and just read it. That would be enough for clearing those kind of interviews. You don't have to by heart, or you don't have to really force yourself into studying all the concepts. Just go through the frequently asked questions. You can use ChatGPT or anything. That will be much easier in now. Just read through the answers and understand what are the answers. Just don't try to by heart anything. Just understand the things. If you don't understand the concept, go further for it, and try to figure out what it is. So that will be the best method for understanding concepts for clearing an interview. So as an experienced person, still I go through that. I follow the same pattern. In Google also, I had my first two rounds was competitive problem solving as you face, and I didn't have any technical questions like DB or process that kind of questions. I had somewhat different interviews, but I believe for you it will be like questions from the subjects you learned already. So that's it, and yeah, that's pretty much. And prepare your resume. It's all basic. Um, Prepare a good resume. Google it. Try to find out a good resume template and follow it and add your strength and weakness. Your projects, highlight it. If you wanted to highlight some part of it, just highlight it. Always keep in mind that an interviewer can ask question from anywhere from your resume. So don't try to lie or add any false information or something to exaggerate about yourself or your project in the resume. I strongly recommend you to write honestly, because when you become a professional, it's more important. From a student to professional, it's a big difference, and you will notice that once you started working. So prepare your resume well and highlight your strengths, the projects you worked on or your interest, everything. And maybe you can add your CGPA if that's good. If that's not that impressive, you don't have to add it. I don't think anyone will consider CGPA nowadays. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, I think we can shorten this meeting if we don't have much topics to cover. Um, can we have any do you have any questions, anyone? I can answer that if you want. You can post it in the chats also.
So, during our preparation for this session, we collected several questions from students about placements. These queries range from how to improve coding skills and technical interviews to tips for navigating aptitude tests.
Um, Apsara, can you ask one by one? I got one question in the chat. Okay, what is? I will go through with it first, and you
Yeah,
can
okay.
continue. Is lead code good enough for practice? Yes, of course. When I was in college, I used different tools like not tools, different kind of websites like lead code. So I started with Geeks for Geeks, I believe, then Hacker Rank. I did those two in my initial days, but later I found out about this lead code and it was absolutely good. It was the best thing I know as today. It's totally my opinion. If you find it if you find some other applications or websites better than lead code, it's your choice. It's totally fine. But for me, it's the best thing. I always go through lead code free questions and cover every topic as possible. So one thing I wanted to point out that don't try to cover all the problems in one single topic like array. uh, divide your questions into different topics. Like in arrays, you can see problems in two pointer method or greedy approach or sliding window. Those are subtopics which comes under array. So divide your divide your study plan according to that. Take 5 or 10 questions from each of the topic and try to cover it. If you don't understand, if you don't get the solution in 10, 15, 20 minutes, go and look the answer and try to learn it. That's the best thing. And as per me, LeetCode is enough. I only use LeetCode as of now. Since you are freshers, since you are in colleges, it's most important for you, so you can use multiple tools or applications. as you like. It's totally up to you. Yeah, I think that will be enough for that. Next one. How did you crack the first company? So as I said, I wasn't great in interviews from my college days. I lost many good companies. Like in Oracle, also, I got rejected maybe in the last round, I believe. So I didn't get any good companies from my college. I only got like one. I only got like one or two companies with the entry level package. So the company I joined also was entry level, but they had good product and the team was very small. So I believed them, and I got really good experience from that company. And about the question, how did you crack the first company? So it's the same. I applied offline. It wasn't an online, like they didn't come to our college for interview. So I applied online through their portal, and I got an interview call. And they had like online two problem to solve, which was simple. I solved it. They asked to come for an on-site interview. So first round was again competitive problem solving, two problems. I solved it, and further rounds comes like there was a person named Sahad. He was the CTO. He came and took the interview. He was a great guy, and he asked about my college project or how things are done. Nothing much detail, just basic stuff. And after that, I got another round with CMO, Chief Managing Officer, which was kind of a discussion. Like we were discussing some projects, some futuristic things, like, just like casual talk. And after that, one behavioral kind of round, and I got the offer very soon. So it was similar to any other interviews or any other positions you are trying to. It weren't much different. Okay, I believe I answered that question. So which all websites help you to check the aptitude round? If possible, can you name some? Oh, that's an interesting question. So yeah, I forgot about your aptitude round. Yeah, yeah, that's also pretty important for you guys. If you get some experience like 1 year or 2 years, it won't be needed. No one will ask you about calculate a percentage of a number, or if five persons work 5 days to complete this work, if 10 persons work, how much days will it take? That kind of questions. But as a fresher, I believe it's still asked. So for that kind of questions, I don't believe any particular websites that I used. Just randomly Google aptitude questions and solve those questions. That's the only thing I did. And yeah, just spend some time and not much time, because it's just a preliminary round. I think most of you can crack that pretty easily. Just go over a few questions. It will get repetitive, and you can finish it fast. It's not like competitive problem solving, because competitive problems has a lot of things. Like it's pretty large subject. It has thousands of problems to solve, so it's pretty complex. But for aptitude, I think you can just randomly Google search and you will find good questions and solve it, and try to go for different kind of problems, logical, mathematical, or time calculation, that kind of. Once you get a touch, I think you will be all right. Mm, okay, then what are the other questions? Charles, um, how did you bargain better package to your employer? So this is a really important topic. If you Google it, you will find many search results for it. Many people have written many articles about it, how to bargain for a new package. But as a fresher, I don't think you will have the privilege to bargain for a better package. If you have multiple offers, you can, but it's a gamble. I'm not sure how it's done for a fresher. You can ask just, hey, I have this offer from this different company, and would you like to extend my package or increase my CTC? Then I will be able to join. Just bargain. I don't have anything else to say about that. Write an email or anything. But I think for all freshers, it won't be that easy because every company puts a fixed package for all the freshers based on your college, of course. If you are from a tier 1 and tier 2 colleges, I mean IITs and NITs, you will get a higher package. Of course, you will get a higher package, maybe 100% higher package than any other people in the country. So, except that bargaining based on some other package, I don't think it will work, but you can try. And if they say no, you can decide what to do. Next question. Also, how did you find a job application after colleges? Which websites did you use for job applications? After college, um, I joined my I joined the only offer which I got. So I didn't search for it after that. But when I tried to switch from my first company to second company and second company to third company, the current company, I probably go with LinkedIn jobs. That's the first thing I go. And there are some other applications for, I believe it's for experienced people. For freshers, I still believe list out the top companies who are hiring freshers, go directly into their portal, apply for your job, apply for internship, anything, and try to get the interview done and enter. That's the way. And if you want to look for more jobs, go to the LinkedIn job section. You will find a tons of companies. And if you want, you can directly apply from LinkedIn, but I prefer you to go directly into their portal, their websites, and apply through them. I believe they will get notified uh, fastly in that way, but I'm not sure. That's how I do things. Um, what else? So, will internship certificate help in interviews? Um, Based on the internship, I don't completely understand what kind of internship you did. Do you have a reputed internship certificate, maybe from Microsoft or Amazon or anything? I don't exactly know, or from some companies. It can slightly matter in your case since you are freshers, and if you do some additional work other than studying and preparing for the interviews, it's a plus point, of course. But it's a slight thing. It's not that big because if you can't clear the competitive round, you are not going upward anyway. So when you reach the final round or the rounds which are closer to the endpoint, it may it may have some benefit, but I'm not sure. It has a slight benefit, I would say. Will course certificates be good during interview? What are course certificates? Um, Mr. Don't mess around. Will course certificates be good during interviews? What is a course certificate? I don't know what is a course certificate. Can you explain that? Probably BTech certificate. You mean your engineering certificate? Amazon Web Development Certificate. Oh, like a, yeah, okay, certification from Amazon. Yeah, that can be a plus point. Yeah, of course, that can be. It's just like a 6 month course, of course. Yeah, that can be a plus point. As I said, you don't have to exactly pay Amazon and get a certificate to showcase that you have this kind of skill set. You can build something your own and showcase that I built this thing my own and I know everything about the project I did. So that's also a plus point. Yeah, absolutely. If you have a certificate, it's also a plus point because you are doing some additional work other than studying and preparing and doing your projects. And of course, it's a plus point. Which programming language more preferred for placement? So most of the companies during the interviews they don't restrict you to use a particular programming language, I believe, because no one will know every programming language, and it's not a good thing to learn everything. And I prefer some interpreted languages like Python or JavaScript instead of Java and C++, because the point I wanted to notice you that in Python is very flexible for writing. You can write some complex logic in few lines in Python, but it will take some classes and objects and imports in Java and CPP to write the same thing. You have to learn about the STLs in CPP. I remember STLs means a standard template libraries, and in Java some other things. I don't remember the exact name. So the inbuilt library support and flexibility is more in Python. So it's upon to you. Whichever language you are more comfortable with it, use it. Or else go with interpreted languages like Python or JavaScript. You can write easily on that. You can import the default libraries, and the default behavior is very flexible in those kind of languages. So I prefer that over Java or CPP. There are free courses with certificate, of course, yes. Can you suggest roadmap to enter into competitive programming? What is the time? Enter into competitive programming. It is pretty basic. Um, Start with easy problems. List out different topics like arrays, linked list, tree, binary search, and hash map, dictionary, etc. You can use ChatGPT or just Google search it to get the topics for the interviews, and try to solve easy problems in each topics and get an understanding of how you can solve the problem. And once you solve the easy problems, try to do it in a quick manner, like in a constrained amount of time, like maybe in 20-30 minutes max. And once you get a grip on that, move to medium problems, so you don't have to worry about hard problems. I still believe no one will ask you about hard problems, since it's not about the purpose of this competitive programming challenge or the problem solving skill is not to solve the problem. It's just to understand how you analyze the problem and how you come up with an idea. It's more about the data structures you choose to solve a problem rather than correctly solving. So I still believe nobody will ask you about hard problems. So up to medium, yeah, medium can be asked. You have to figure out how to solve medium level questions in each of these categories. That's the thing you want to do. I'm not sure I completely answered that question. For roadmap, yes, list out the topics, go with the easy problems, solve it. Once you are able to solve the problems in a quicker manner, like maybe 20 minutes, go for the medium problem, try to solve it. If you are not finding the solution, look for the solution, understand the concept, go to the next problem, like it. Mm, how did you learn to handle with large databases? Also, how do you do debugging? Huh, large database. I don't clearly understand what do you mean by large databases. Um, could you please explain that? And debugging, yeah, well, there are many tools that you can use. You can use debug points. For front end, you can add debugger in the browser itself. So you will hit the debug point, and from there onwards you can add breakpoints. So Google for breakpoints and try to understand what are those that can be used. If you're using an IDE, there will be debugger in the IDE itself. I use Visual Studio Code. I used it, and currently I use that. So there is a debugger in the Visual Studio Code, and you can add that debugger in your program and just debug it. It's pretty basic. You can Google it and figure out how to do that. Mm, which code environment do you use? I just still don't understand what code environment means. Please add that. Large code environment. Still don't know. What do you mean? How to crack aptitude tests? Yeah, I said about this. Solve the problems. Solve as many problems from different categories like time calculation and effectiveness calculation, percentile, percentage, and some tricky questions like they can ask some questions about your general understanding of a problem, how you come up with the solution. Like logical questions like if there are three bulbs in a room and you have three switches outside, how many how many steps is required to understand which switch belongs to which bulb? That kind of problems. Just Google it. You will find tons of problems everywhere. Understand the concept, understand the solution. That's it. Should we focus on dynamic programming? Yeah, I would say. So I won't stress you to do that, but it's dynamic programming, greedy programming, and trees, graph traversal. These are some complex topics that can be asked. I won't say it won't be asked, but um, in sorry for that. But in most interviews, these topics won't be asked. But I would say I would ask you to learn these topics as well: dynamic programming and greedy approach for solving a problem. This can be asked, of course. Once you cover all the other topics like arrays, linked list, just basic trees, binary search, etc., you can go with this dynamic programming. Don't stress yourself more into that. Just cover few problems with it. I think you will be okay. While writing programs, which one needs to be considered? Optimizing the time complexity or optimizing the space complexity? Um, none of these matter. So as a fresher, I think the people who conduct the interviews primarily focus on the quality of code you write and how quick you write and how well you write. So as I said, it's more about which data structures you choose to solve the program rather than just a binary like you solved the problem or not. If you can clearly communicate your solution with the interviewer and write a program in a readable format with comments and good variable names and not so complex, then you will be good even though you didn't get the correct output. You will be okay, I believe. And just forget about time complexity and space complexity for now. So in some cases, there can be like you can solve a problem in big of n square solution. It can be straightforward. It can be you can write like two, three, four loops and solve the problem. It's a straightforward answer. So if you believe that's an answer, that's a simple answer that anyone can come up with, I and you didn't find any good answer, you communicated it with the interviewer and tell him that this can be done in this manner, this easily, and ask him whether I should write that. So if he say go ahead, then go ahead. Otherwise, if he says try to optimize it, look for a better solution with some different approach to optimize the time complexity. I think space complexity, no one will ask you to optimize space complexity. I believe that. Mm, what is next one? Going for placements or going for higher studies, which is better after BTech? Um, depends. It depends. So now, or not now. So for a BTech engineer, I think there are many career options. You can go for a job. You can go and take MTech. You can go outside and take MS, or you can go for MBA. There are, or you can prepare for any other government jobs like SSC or PSC or IAS, IPS, anything. There are tons of options. It's all based on your goal, what you wanted to do. If you're ready to work in an environment and ready to earn, then you can go for a job. Otherwise, if you wanted to study or if you wanted some more time enjoying your college days, you can go for a higher studies. It's totally dependent upon you, how financially stable you are, how financially stable you will be, financially stable you will be in next 2 3 years after completing your next course. It's all depend on all these things. It's a difficult it's a difficult decision to take. Consider all the aspects of what will happen in few years and what will be your financial debt if you take this path instead of going for a job, and also your mental health. If you will be happy more in studying rather than working for some company, then go for it. It's totally dependent upon you. I don't have an opinion on that. It's totally upon you. You can take even after working for 1 year or 2 years, you can go and learn. It's totally upon you. You will reach there. It's fine. What are the major problems and hurdles in technical interview and coding test? Major problems and hurdles in technical interview and coding test. Coding test, I described almost everything. There are different topics arise in English. Those are the things you have to cover. Everything like binary search trees, graphs, etc. And technical interviews, just Google it for different topics, databases, process, threads, operating system. I think I forgot many of the topics that I studied in college, but you may remember the important topic that you studied, but you don't remember correctly. So refresh your memory, just get some question and answers from Google and understand the concepts. That will be good. So I think every interview will ask something about classes and objects. So that's a pretty basic thing. So understand well all the class concepts like inheritance, polymorphism, that kind of things. I think everyone asks that. How do you handle large code bases? Oh. Um, Large code bases. Yeah. Um, what should I say? So from a college student's perspective, you don't have to worry about it anyway. No one expects you to handle a large code base or understand everything that exists in the company or in your team or anything. So managing large code bases, mostly understand the overall concepts and the things you're working on. That should be enough. You won't be able to understand everything completely because there can be million lines of code. There can be billion lines of codes and files and everything. Just go over the things you wanted to do to accomplish your task. You complete your task to fix a bug, to add a feature, to create a new thing or anything. Go over the document, read the document thoroughly, and go over the code. Try to figure out the code. If you don't understand anything, ask someone. It's always better to ask someone. I still believe it's always better to ask stupid questions than not ask anything. Ask anything. Ask all your stupid questions. In the worst case, someone may think you are stupid. It's totally fine. You'll get the answer you want. So it's totally fine to be stupid. So I was like that. I ask all the stupid questions to my seniors all the time. So that's how I give up. So I definitely recommend that. So large code bases, it's same. Read the documents thoroughly, understand the code base, go through the test cases, what they are doing, and how it will be run and how it will cover your code. That kind of just reading would be enough. How back paper students can apply for a placement? Um, yep. I think for computer science or for the roles that are assigned for a computer science, or I think not particular for the computer science students, all the software engineer or DevOps or quality QA roles that require some software kind of profession. I don't think back papers matter. I still believe when I was in college, 90% of the company didn't ask about the back papers. They never rejected anyone because of a back paper or existing back paper. I think you may have to clear your paper before joining the company. So some companies may not even require that. I still believe when I was in my first company, there was a senior who still had back papers when I was there. We were still writing exams every day, so it's totally fine. It's totally based on the company. So I still believe 80-90% of the company doesn't matter the back papers. It doesn't matter. Trust me, the things you learn in colleges, 80-90% of the things you will never use in your lifetime if you're working as a software professional. So don't worry about back papers. But I still believe some companies do that. I don't know why, but you're okay with the rest of the 80-90% companies. For example, kernel or adopt software. I don't understand this. Can you repeat that? Does having a higher position in excom or union matter in placement? What is an excom or union? Sarah, can you explain that? I don't understand what those things are. Does good GitHub contributions help you? Of course, it helps. As I said before, if you are doing something over your studies and your preparation, it's always help you, like getting a certification or contributing to open source projects or building your own projects. It all helps. It all showcases that, hey, I'm good at this. I did this in my free time, so I'm better than the others. So it showcases your skill set. It showcases how interested you are in the topic. It showcases your motivation. Yeah, it's always good. Can you tell me about the skill requirement and how to showcase it effectively? Skill requirement and how to showcase it effectively. Um, you can showcase it in your resume first. You will be shortlisted. If an interviewer asks your expertise in particular subjects, you can tell them these are my expertise and this is how I got them. This much I know them. I took this much time to understand them. I can do these thing with this, that kind of things. Prepare your resume. Will put your strong points at the top first and your weak points at the bottom. That's I recommend. And you can say that I am really good at this. Really, for an example, I can say that I am really good at Python as a programming language, but I am comfortable with JavaScript and I can manage it, but I am not that comfortable. You can say it like that. So highlight your strength in your resume according to that. You can find many templates for that. You can follow anyone. That's all. How to get a job or even search for a job after 1 year study gap. Um, 1 year study gap, it's pretty the same. I don't know how they shortlist you for the interview or anything after you're seeing your study gap. Um, but if you have a study gap and you're still applying for a freshers job, I think it won't matter. They will just consider you as a fresher and continue with you. And if they ask, you can explain why you took the gap. It's totally fine, I believe. I mean, societies like IEEE, CSI, EXCO members. For that, what was the question? Do you have any higher position in EXCO union matter placements? These are slightly important things. I don't believe in all these things. Think. I don't think it really matters. Um, I don't remember a single person who got into a company due to the certification or IEEE or any other community's membership or some work. I don't know. I don't believe in that, but I may be unaware. I may be wrong. Um, I'm not 100% sure, but these are very slight points that you can highlight in your resume. It's a good thing to have, but it won't matter that much if you have good skill set and problem solving skills and understanding of the concepts. It doesn't matter. I believe that. How much your college affect your BTech career? Um, I completely don't get that question. How much does your college affect your BTech career? So, so my college was great, not in terms of like getting placements and getting a career. I really enjoyed my college life. It was the best time I had. I wasn't that studious and I wasn't that bad also. I was just average, like most of the people. I enjoyed the college time, most of the time, like going through festivals, playing cricket, bunking classes. As as a college student, as a government college student, all the things. It it I don't think my college mattered in my career that much, but I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed the time there. I enjoyed my friends, time with my friends, and everything. I really love that time. I really love that time when I was in college. And for BTech, didn't matter. So after you, I believe when I was in college, everyone was learning through books and stuff. Nobody went to classes. Most of us just got 75% benchmark cutoff percentage in classes, and every reading and just to pass the exam, we got it from books. We just study 1 or 2 or 3 days before the exams and pass the exams. That's all we did. Not much better. For the interviews also, just study and pass it. Don't depend on any professors or teachers. That's it. I believe it's similar to any other college. Okay, we are end of all the questions. Oh, oh God, we got a lot of questions. So, any of you want to cover any other topic in career or in your future or anything? Or any other questions? Please go ahead. LinkedIn ID or resume? Um, LinkedIn ID, of course, I can share. Resume also, I can share. So, do we have time for that? 8:20. Um, okay, let me just search for my resume. Where can I find it? Mm, resume. So this is my LinkedIn ID. So I couldn't find my resume. Sorry for that. Just Google it upon your just use a good template and you will be okay. Just highlight your strength and don't add any unwanted things like your hobbies or anything that's not relevant for your professional career. Just don't add that. That's the only thing I wanted to share. I'm sorry I couldn't find my resume. I believe I put it somewhere in my profile. I'm not able to find it. You can look for other people's resume online. You will get tons of resumes online based on companies, based on profession, everything. And there are some more questions. I meant, how much does NIT or IIT students have advantage over normal college students as a student from these institute is good to that. Also, they have higher packages due to their IIT type or IIT. Of course, they have. I don't know why. because it's really hard to get into IIT and NIT. I believe it's due to that. It still happens in Google also. Google hires from top IITs and NITs only, I believe. Not even CAT or not any other colleges. I still believe only IITs or top NITs. Google goes for the placements. Not if you can apply offline, that's totally fine. But Google don't go to any other colleges, I believe. It's similar for most of the companies like Microsoft or Amazon. Amazon came to CET. I believe that when I was there, Amazon was the one of the top companies that came. There were a couple of other companies too. So some companies have these policies they have from top colleges, and of course the people from IITs and IITs have this privilege. Their package will be substantially higher than anyone from a different college. That is how it's being done. It's a fact. How was the communication round for you as a fresher? Any advice for freshers? Communication rounds, I don't completely understand others. Can you explain what do you mean by communication rounds? Oh, group discussion interviews. So for all the interviews that I took when I was in college, I didn't face any group discussion round for any software engineering position. So I remember Byju's came to our college. At that time, Byju's was a big thing. They offered big amount for the freshers. So they had a GD group discussion round. So people just had their communication because that job required communication skills. It's kind of a sales job. So for any other roles like software development or QA or DevOps kind of roles, I never met a GD round. So I don't know much about it. To improve your communication, just talk. That's the only thing you can do. Just take the courage and talk. If you are making mistakes, it's totally fine. If you are trying, that's the best thing you can do. Just try it. Okay, we are almost time. I believe we covered all the questions, and I believe um, no further questions. Um, okay, I believe there are no more questions. So, who's raising hand? Okay, this is about the certificate. Okay, so thank you guys for joining. I believe I could share some thoughts about some of your questions. I was happy that you invited me to do this session. If you want anything further, just Google it. You will find a tons of article about all the topics you wanted to know. There are millions of web pages and articles already. So that's it.
Thank you,
I
sir.
believe, yeah.
Thank you, sir,
Okay.
for taking this time to share your valuable insight with us today. Your experience and advice has given us a clearer understanding of what it takes to succeed in placements, and we truly appreciate your effort you put into this session. It has been an inspiring and informative tour, and we are sure everyone here has gained a lot of practical knowledge. We look forward to applying these lessons in our journeys. Thank you, Eki, for being with us. Thanks, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. Good night, everyone. All the best.